area. And again, just look for the volume to increase very gradually. Look for the length of time. So far I've gone a pretty long time without coughing. I was coughing like crazy just before I started this video. So now, again, an abbreviated version, this is, after my E valve feels okay, I'm going to switch to ah. Generally that's where trouble gets started. Same thing, we're going to go down. Ah. It's okay. Now I'm being careful going through this area. One more. Now you could sing much lower. Now right there, that feels pretty ratty to me. I don't have much material that would require me to go down that low with any vigor, so I'm gonna, again, bypass that to give you an abbreviated version. So if going down feels good, I'm gonna go up and down. With each version, I'm up in the load, so I'm going a little bit louder now. I'm gonna start to honor tempo, keep myself locked in. I'm gonna see if I can trigger any trouble responses, see if I can trigger a cough. If I don't, if I can lean against my voice a little bit, get into a little bit of more belt, it's gonna calm me down and know, okay, I'm starting to widen that window, make me feel a little bit more confident about an upcoming gig. Now right there I can feel it. Definitely triggered a tickle. So that means I engaged outside muscle. There's a reflex in there and it's looking out for my benefit. So right there I was pushing a little bit too hard and I created that tickle, that little trigger, so the cough was in there. So that means I just lowered my bar a little bit. I'm rushing it too much. I'm asking for too much voice based on my condition. Let's try that again a little softer. So I didn't have to lower it much, but a little bit got me through that alleyway. I'm okay there. So again, I want you to get this, that you don't have to be where I am range-wise. You can be lower or higher. It's find where that break point is, find where you're trigger happy, and sit right around that neighborhood and use volume and use effort as your gauge as to whether or not you're going to be able to sustain a show later on this evening or even next day. What I'm doing today, what I'm doing with you now, is a great dry run. I think the next time you get a cold, if you don't have one right now, you should practice this like a worst case scenario. Next time you have a cold and it feels like there's no way you could do a gig at night, make that a dry run. See what kind of voice you can summon up. This is not a force. This is a coax. This is therapeutic. I'm starting at a really low volume and gradually bringing the volume louder and louder. Let me go back to that A here. No, where was it? It's the F where I began. So already I'm getting a little bit more out of my voice. It's a little shaky there. the swelling there? Try one more. Now for me, that A sounds pretty ratty, so I know I got a few more hours to go. And again, I'm not talking about sitting at the piano for another 3 hours. I would take a break around now. I would hydrate like crazy, because you want to keep those mucus, that mucus that's dripping down, you want to keep it as thin as possible. The more you hydrate, the thinner those secretions are going to be, and that's only going to help your voice in a lot of different ways. I would eat some fruit, maybe an apple or something. You want to make sure that you're constantly giving your body some tools to keep fighting with. I also like to do echinacea and golden seal herbal extract. And again, I don't require that stuff. Right now, I already got a cold, so the echinacea and the golden seal is only going to be soothing to my throat. One final thing, when I was talking about the throat, the pharynx versus laryngitis, if your folds are infected, if you go to the doctor and he says you have viral laryngitis, that is a red light. Do not sing. Don't speak. Vocal rest. Most times people have pharyngitis. They have an infection in their throat, and we don't sing with our throat. We shouldn't sing with our throat. We sing through the throat. So like I said, it's a great time to practice not using external muscle. When you have a bad cold, that window being so narrow is a great time to test your skills. How much voice can you coax out of this bad of a condition? Play around with it and see on a day where you don't have a gig. And that way, when the pressure is on, when people are asking you, are we going to perform tonight, you'll be able to assess 8 hours ahead of time whether or not you'll be able to sing. You'll have to do a bunch of dry runs in in lots of different scenarios to know. But that to me is what a professional singer's responsibility is. Can you predict how your voice is going to behave 8 hours ahead of time? You owe it to everybody you're working with and to the venue you're playing at to give them as much notice as possible if you're going to need to cancel. A day ahead is great. And so if you can't get your voice together the night before a gig, then you got to think about canceling. You don't want to wait till just immediately before a performance, obviously. And I'm not suggesting that it's noble or heroic for you to thrash it out like I did. I used to get a lot of sore throats and I used to lose my voice a lot. I would get it back the next day. I never had any pathology like nodes or polyps, but I would say I was more lucky than I was skilled. So now that I have these skills, now that I've been vocalizing all these years, I can navigate my way through a cold, and so can you. It's all about just starting really, really low volume. Be forgiving of how bad it sounds. Don't let it tickle. Don't let it cough. Loosen up everything via vocalizing, and you can sing through a gig. You'll have to be extremely careful, not pushing, not, sort of getting lured into the environment, the excitement of the gig. Be at your best behavior, but you can do it. Any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or in the comment section on my YouTube channel. I'm also now posting on Twitter. I've got all kinds of helpful tweets there. Good luck to you. I'm going back to bed. I'm Mark Baxter for Lesson.com.